Lifestyle. Yeah, lifestyle lit. I've been legit. The motive is in. I'm going again, but I'm going to win. I don't know when to end. Got me needing residuals for the time that I spent. Yeah.
All right, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. You know, it's a lifestyle with the official LP. I am your host, the official LP. Welcome back. If you have not tuned in, this is episode 2. Episode 1 is available for you on YouTube, Patreon, all audio services where they stream podcasts. That'd be Apple Podcasts, that'd be Spotify, that'd be Podcast Index, and many others. So we're in the mission of submitting for iHeartRadio right now. And once that's up and loading, we'll get that to you as soon as possible. Uh, yeah, we are back again. I think from episode 1 was definitely a. It felt good to get a lot of the weight of doing something like this off of my shoulders. So in a sense, it was kind of vindicating to, you know, relieve myself of that because it's been a bevy of roles that I play within this, and getting anything off the ground. I'm sure you guys can relate as well within respective rights and fields, the day in and day out grinds that you have to take to get to where you need to go. But for me, in a sense, when you actually want to approach something that you're actually passionate about, you want to do it in a way where you don't want to come off as if you're not meant for it. And that's just how I look at things or whatever, whether it could be sports, it could be music, it can be entertainment, it can be broadcasting, it could be any type of field. You want to make sure that you are setting yourself up to either potentially be looked at it as a sense that it can work, and even if it doesn't work right out the gate, you had the potential to make something grow. So that was kind of my mindset coming off of episode 1 going into episode 2, and we are here now. It's all about growth, and every episode is always going to get better as I preach to you to that. If you haven't done so by now, make sure you follow It's a Lifestyle LP on Instagram, X, YouTube, all social media platforms. And make sure that you're following the podcast. It's a Lifestyle with the official LP. We are available on Patreon. We are available on Apple Podcasts. Again, we are available wherever you get your audio from and wherever you get your video from. We will be expanding in different ways. Just give us some time. It is new. A lot of these platforms come with different check marks that we have to go through to make sure that we are upholding to our end as far as content and delivering content in a proper manner to be able to be, I would say promoted and marketed right on their platform. So definitely trying to expand the right way and do what needs to be done for this platform. So yeah, so a lot of things in perspective, and the week was good. That was kind of what the week was. The week was, taking care of business. I hope everybody else had a good week out there and they did what they needed to do. When you get to the weekend, by the time you get to the weekend, you want to make sure you vibe and you want to make sure everything is kind of laid back a little bit. I know some people got to work. They getting that grind on it, whether they be 2 shifts, they working 3 shifts. It don't even matter what it is. They getting that bread. But if you are off for the weekend or if you working, like I said, it don't matter. I want to make sure that y'all having a good time and y'all enjoying this content, y'all enjoying this audio, and y'all here vibing and building with me as we go on and continue forth. Um, the weekend for me, I'm pretty much gonna chill back. I'm gonna get into some, more content creation. I'm gonna get into some more music. I am working on some projects that I will talk about at a further later date and give you guys the update on that and let y'all know how that's going. And for the new people for the new audience and the new members or anything of the sort, if you, again, I am an artist as well, and I will be publishing my music and presenting that to you soon. So I do want to give a shout out to my Rams. I do want to give a shout out to my Rams. All right, because I had some people on me about my Matt Stafford take. All right, listen. Matt Stafford to me is a top 5 quarterback. I'll break that down at another date, but he's a top 5 quarterback. I will give you, I'm going to just list a few names, all right? In no specific order. We got Patrick Mahomes. We got Josh Allen. We got Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford. Now, I'm not saying Matt Stafford is the best. I'm just saying he's top five. Now, I had some people on me about that take. It's cool. It's just my take. But I will say again, shout out to my Rams. Prove it. He didn't showcase, all the ability as far as you know, being number one or anything of that sort, like I said. But he did do his thing. Matt Stafford showed up for 245 yards and a touchdown, a win against the Texans, 9-14. Kyron Williams kicked in a touchdown. Puka Nacua went off, 10 receptions, 130 yards. Um, Devontae Adams kicked in a good 51 yards. That was, light day for him. He didn't really get in the end zone, so he didn't do what he needed to do. Puka didn't really get in the end zone as well, too. He did kick in those on to 30 yards. I don't want to miss that. Davis Allen, our backup tight end, he's the one who got in the end zone. He got that touchdown for us for Matthew Stafford. But that was a good win. Let's get that applause real quick. I will be broadcasting Rams wins. I'm sorry. I will be accountable for the Rams losses as well, too. We gonna grow and we gonna go. That's what I'm gonna keep saying. So y'all stick with me. All right. So moving on. We gonna start off with.
Did we go to prison for the rest of our life? Whoop-dee-doo.
Whoop-dee-doo. Young Thug. The Young Thug interview. Young Thug was recently on an interview with Big Bank from the Big Facts podcast. He has his own podcast, another podcast as well called Perspectives. They're Atlanta natives, and they got into it was a good opportunity for Big Bank, I think, to capitalize on the Young Thug interview because it was a hot topic and it's still a hot topic to this day, and every day it just seems like it just keeps getting more and more attention due to Young Thug. We could just rewind real quick. So a few years ago, Young Thug was arrested on RICO. Him and Gunna and all of his YSL members. We're gonna speed through it. Him and his YSL members. They were arrested on a RICO. They had him on some things. Some people thought it was a weak case. They were going back and forth. Ultimately, Gunna ended up taking an Alford plea, and there was a whole snitching thing going on with Gunna because he ended up getting out of jail prior to Young Thug, and everybody's wondering the whole time, did Young Thug? There was a lot of speculation whether it was because Gunna is signed to YSL. He's an artist under Young Thug, so there was a lot of speculation as to did he snitch or did he rat on Young Thug, or did Young Thug, was he okay with this? So that was at that time because Gunna went in the courtroom and then pretty much kind of he let them know that they were a gang. And that was the thing that Young Thug and them were. Young Thug, and I know his defense was pretty much going on that they were trying to prove that they were not a gang, and it made it a little tough for them. Even though Young Thug ultimately ended up getting out, it is a form of betrayal, and it definitely is a form of snitching. Well, we're not gonna get into all that, but Gunna takes the Alford plea. Young Thug is still locked up. He ends up being on trial. We're watching this trial play out for a very long time. There's a lot of different things that were coming out in the media. Young Thug listened to certain disses. Young Thug listened to the songs. They were playing his lyrics in court. You had Woody on trial. You had a lot of different members on trial. There was people bonding out, and there was people getting out before Young Thug actually got out. So once Young Thug actually ended up taking his plea deal, and I want to say he's sentenced to 15 years probation. I would have to check that and come back and fact check that. Y'all can fact check me on that as well in the comments. Again, it's a lifestyle. Make sure y'all commenting and engaging. Um, Young Thug was able to get out, and he pretty much is on probation, and is very limited to everything is very limited to what he can do. He can't talk about gang related things in his lyrics. He can't talk about, I would say it would be smart for him not to talk about violence in his lyrics because that would just ultimately end up painting him the path back to prison because you got to live that lifestyle and you're going to end up being back around things you was comfortable being back around, and you know what I mean, who can't blame him. That's just the life he come from. So he's making the music and he has gotten himself into this point. So why wouldn't he keep doing the things that he was going to do? That's in that perspective if that's what he was doing. But so he ends up getting out, and now you have artists like Lil Baby, a lot of Atlanta artists they are embracing Thug. Thug is back out. I know Ti was one of the first people around Thug, and usually when people come home, they drop their first day out freestyle and they get to going, they get to moving. The hype has been built up, which I hope Max B, salute Max B, free to wave. Um, I hope he gets out and he's able to get right to it and he actually capitalizes off. We done seen people come out and they either go up or down. There was a good time where it was up, and sometimes people kind of depending on what they do, they play the lines and they take that momentum and they just nosedive it. But for Young Thug, it just seems like he's built up his cachet so much within the music industry and just within the culture that I don't think it was a lot of thought or a lot of focus onto what he was actually going to do. They were just waiting. People were just waiting to see, like, are you calling Gunna a rat? Do you disagree with what he did? Or is everything cool? Because, despite, him may have potentially have his feelings at the time, Gunna, it was number one albums. He had number one singles at the time. They were doing numbers on the charts. He's doing good for himself. He's branding. He's doing a lot of different things to set up what he needs to do for his brand and his marketing, regardless of what street politics may be as far as snitching and ratting and all that and all the code. We all heard him on the tape. We all seen him on the video, which was wild how they posted it, but we all seen it on the video, and he did what he did and he said what he said. Now, as time goes on, Young Thug is not really everybody's waiting for the music. Now now fast forward to now, recently in the past few weeks, a we get some footage, we get some audio of Young Thug pretty much snitching or pretty much giving some name or some infos, giving some name, giving a name or some info pretty much on a case that was actually ongoing on an investigation and something that he could have been directly involved in or the people around him were involved in. And he gave up some names and he pretty much was like, let me get your number whenever you need something, telling this, to the person in that interrogation room, like, if you need something, I'll be able to call you. And that sounds crazy. And after all of the time of him putting the pressure on Gunna about the snitching, the ratting, he's been, if you street code, you understand the rat. It's not just Thug, you shouldn't be ratting, you shouldn't be snitching, you shouldn't be, if you caught up in something that you complicit in, what I mean, you shouldn't be going against the grain. But again, like I said, that's another, you know, that's a deeper dive, deeper conversation into that. But going back to Thug actually like feeling like that and continuing on like that, and Gunna is ascending to somewhere else to where it was bothering him to where now you get these accusations coming out of Young Thug snitching. And you can see that it started to get to him because he started to put out tweets, he started to react to it, and then after that you started to get jail calls leaked about artists that he's talking about. He's just talking, and to be real, just to summarize for me, I feel like all these artists and a lot of these people talk like that. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. A lot of these people talk like that, whether you agree with what he was saying or you don't agree with what he was saying. Thug was on the calls, and he was on the federal calls. They're recording the calls, and people want to say, "Yo, he's dumb for recording. He's dumb for saying that, and he should have known that it's gonna be recorded." Yeah, you should have known that it was gonna be recorded. But when people are in jail and they facing life, which a lot of people have not been through that situation, which myself included, and you would hope not to be in that situation, is that you know, regardless, it's not even about getting bored. It's literally about, yo, this is your life, and I'm talking to my girl at the time. I'm talking about this. All right, I'm trying to keep my mind off of what's going on right now, what could potentially go on right now, and to keep me in this place. So I'm not justifying what he actually was saying or what he was talking about within people or talking about with those people, but I just think that we get caught up in trying to critique every single thing that somebody does in way further hindsight and then trying to rehash something in that moment. So these calls keep getting leaked out, and he's talking about Drake. He's talking about supposedly Sexy Red. He's calling Glorilla, saying she's not attractive. Future. There's a whole bunch of people. He's just keeps discrediting, and he's calling Gunna a rat. He's talking about a lot of these people. Then a I guess you would say leaked video comes out of Young Thug called Closed Arguments, and he pretty much calling Woody a rat, calling Gunna a rat, calling everybody a rat. The music didn't sound good to me. I'm gonna just keep it real. The music just didn't sound good to me. It just sounded like that. It sounded like that fresh out. He's just trying to knock the rust off. Gunna. I mean, not Gunna. Excuse me. Young Thug has made good music. He's made great music in the past, and just it seemed like he was knocking that rust off. And I'm sure if it was leaked or if it wasn't leaked, maybe it was just like a move to try to sway some attention off of what was actually going on and what people were actually paying attention to. I think that it was more. It just wasn't good, and it just once the internet starts to feel like not even the internet. Once the narrative starts to go against you, I just think that people usually make their minds up nowadays to where you can't really sway that from that. So now going back to the jail calls get leaked. The video, he's dropping the video, and now we get to Big Bank doing the interview with Thug to clear some of this stuff up, which I think it was a good move because they're both Atlanta natives, and it should be done in that type of platform to where he can understand where he came up, how he came up, and Thug's calling him the OG, so he already know that it's respect there on both parties, and Big Bank was giving pushback, which was actually needed. But to summarize it for me, I just think it was really good for Thug to get his feelings out there and ultimately tell his side of things, and just he seems bothered. He just seems bothered. You can tell he seems bothered. Things are different from, like I said, the Gunna side of things and the Young Thug side of things. And to me, through the interview, his I would say his appreciation for the relationship, as far as like him even just being signed to him or them being brothers, friends, whatever they calling themselves, I just think it was a deeper appreciation that I didn't even think that was there. A lot of the times when people work together, you don't always well, for me personally, I don't always assume that they're they have the closest and the tightest relationship, and they're just the best of friends, and just everything it just plays in their favor every time. They don't argue, don't disagree, don't bump heads. But to hear him speak about the way that Gunna was for him and how nobody can ever talk bad about Gunna, it's almost like right there in the moment as you watch the interview, if you really listen to the interview, he's telling you how he feels, but then he's still trying to like battle the street side of things. That's the thing, like in which we can all understand. He's letting him know, yo, you could have put me in prison for life, and he signed this paper, and but then the other side, he's saying right then, like, yo, nobody can talk bad about Gunna. Nobody can really not talk bad about Gunna, but nobody can do none of Gunna. Like nobody can make me go against Gunna, and that says a lot because I just feel like he's conflicted, and it's a lot of pressure because even through the jail calls and a lot of things that's been going on since his release, I just feel the internet gives a lot of pressure to some of these artists in these situations. And if you're not balancing it right and you're not understanding in real time that you are the dictator of what your own actual narrative is, and you don't have to play into it, or if you're actually going to explain yourself in a manner that is predicated to you. Don't do it in a way where you feel like you're just trying to butter over the critics or the naysayers who are going against what you're actually doing. So for Young Thug, he got a lot of feeling, and he got a lot of feelings out. He got a lot of feelings out, and in this day and age, and I'll say that a lot, but nowadays with a lot of these rappers and a lot of these artists, they're not really doing any interviews, and they're not really doing anything that's worth connecting. Like the connectivity is not there anymore when it comes to artists. They're not giving you anything. They're saying, yo, here's my product. Here, just buy my music. I'm going to put it out, and you just going to like me. Something like Young Thug might actually have just helped himself to a certain degree. I don't know what it's going to look like as far as, street politics and different things of that nature when it comes to that. But if he actually just takes a step back from all this and just focuses on the music and try to present himself in the best way and best manner, how he has done in the past, and just double up on that now. Excuse me for that. I think he can. I think he can really set himself up positive, and I think he can really do a lot of different things. But I wanted to know what y'all think. Can he change from the lifestyle he's used to, or you think he's just gonna stay on the same path due to the nature of how he's been handling these recent events. So I just know the whoop-de-doo not to go to jail for life, dog. You better than that, but understand street code, but we can do better than that. But moving on because it's a lifestyle. Hey, let's talk about something real quick. Let's talk about something. Recently, a lot of people have been, and I don't know where this has come from. I don't know where. Let me say that again. I don't know where this has come from, but a lot of people have been more comfortable. And when I say people, rappers, rappers, uh, can't even. I can't talk about R&B artists. That's a whole different game. But let's just specifically rappers have been comfortable with the use of AI in lyrics and Chat GPT and just openly talking about it. Now I think there are two sides of it where it can be not saying appreciated, but you can understand. Like you have an example of Big X the Plug. He came out recently and was saying how, you know, he can't really write hooks and things of that nature. So yeah, somebody write the hook. Somebody write the hook, and then I want to say it was that song, the biggest, the largest, which I rock with that song. Shout out to Big X the Plug. He came out and said that he had somebody write the hook, and then he did the verses, and he doesn't mind like the writers and writer camp or anything of that nature. So him just being forthcoming with it and just being natural and genuine, that's cool. You got like other people like there was somebody, I think there was a younger artist, Baby Chief Do It, I want to say his name was, and forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. He said pretty much that he uses AI in lyrics and he uses like the Chat GPTs and things like that to write his lyrics. And I know he's a young kid and you can't fault him. I don't 14, 15, 16. He may be younger than that, and for him to be where he's at, if he's younger than that, it's amazing. Salute to him. But you I guess you can't fault him for it because he is younger, and just to think about, if 15 years ago, what's that, 2010, and him being born then and into now, with the way the technology, he's born into all the social media, he's born into the way things are evolving, he's born in the way people are talking, he's born into the way people are doing things, and now it's just the way AI has been, you know, just openly admitting the use of AI. It's like, is it gonna be, is it a downfall, or could it be a plus to people? It could it be a plus to people who are less fortunate and less gifted? But in my opinion, I just think that it strips away the value of what real musicianship and real artistry really is. Like something that really comes from you, the words that really come from you. If I could just talk into a phone and say, "Hey, write me a song about a girl," or write me a song about feeling down, write me a song about feeling happy. Those are not my feelings. I'm just telling somebody what to do. And I'm not saying that's what any of these artists did. I'm just giving examples. Um, I don't think that's fair to the people who really put pride in, really studying their craft, honing in on their craft, practicing their craft, taking musicianship really seriously to the highest level, whether it be the mixing engineers, the artists, the producers, it doesn't matter who it is, the songwriters who spend relentless hours to really perfect something, whether it be their voice, their instrumentation, or just the way they present themselves. But for a computer to do it, it's almost like just telling, like, I feel like at this point we're just gonna get to like 15, 20 years from now, we're just gonna have robots out there playing football. Like, yo, you know what, that wide receiver, you know what I mean? He's solid. He's solid. That AI robot, that robot out there, he run faster than everybody. He jump higher than everybody. Nah, but all that'd be crazy. All seriousness, I think that AI just, it's good in use for some things. I have seen the benefits of it, but it's going a little bit too far. But when it comes to music and lyrics, I just think that it just doesn't really serve a good purpose. You got Timbaland out here creating old AI artists. Now, he posted something recently where it was a music video with an actually real person, so people don't know if he was trolling or not the whole time with the AI, but he has a whole thing with, I think it's Sono or Suno, um, something like that. Forgive me again if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Correct me in the chat. But Timbaland was messing around with AI and rolling out the first AI artist, and it's crazy because Timbaland made beats literally by just percussion from his mouth. Like pause. Like he made beats and percussion. If you go back and listen to Timbaland's music when he was a producer for Aaliyah and Genuine and Missy Elliott and all them and Justin Timberlake, like he would put a lot of just straight craftsmanship and creativity into a project or into a song. So to go to just some computer usage for like you're supposed to preserve this thing we call music. You're not supposed to just give it to just devices. Devices can be used with this music, but it should be made from the people. And that's just where I stand from that. We gonna move on though from that though. We got Cardi B album release. Cardi B, let's give it up for Cardi B. Let's give it up for Cardi B. Cardi B, and the reason why I say that is because I like Cardi B. I'm a fan of Cardi B. Her rise was, to me, it was really genuine, and it was I'm not gonna say one of the last real authentic rises in hip hop or just in music, but I just remember when the Bodak Yellow song was going off. Now, regardless of, she was on Love and Hip Hop, and people loved her personality, different things like that. But what other artists did you know about that were coming up off of Love and Hip Hop actually made it the way that Cardi B did? Not artists that were actually established. The artists that were actually on the show, and you kind of heard their tracks and was like, okay, you now they're just kind of a TV personality, or they do music in a kind of sense, but Cardi B kind of elevated that. Bodak Yellow took off. Her fan base just grew rapidly. When she's going off in her lyrics, that song specifically landed her, I feel, a lot of exposure and a lot of people just liking her story, liking the way she was, with the way how she was and how authentic and genuine she was. She was no holds barred. She wouldn't hold back, and she's a likable personality. So she ended up putting out her debut album Invasion of Privacy in 2018. It's a Grammy Award winner in 2019, which some people kind of, she won that over Nipsey, and I thought that Nipsey should have got that. No slight to you, Cardi B, but you won that, you got that. I'm still a fan. Salute. But Cardi ended up winning that, and that album actually holds the record as the best-selling female rap album of the 21st century, and is the most streamed female rap album on Spotify currently. And that's a big mark for Cardi, but she was getting a lot of knock throughout the years. Like, we're not going to miss that. So that was back in 2018. She dropped that. Fast forward 2025, her new project, Am I the Drama, is projected to drop September 19th. Now, before she dropped all this, she went through the divorce. She went through the back and forth with Offset. She went through the ups and downs with the records. A lot of the records were hit or miss. People weren't really feeling them like that. WAP was the one that went. The Up record is the one that went. And those two records, I want to say she dropped a few different records, and they were kind of hit or miss. People weren't really feeling them like that. She kind of went back and forth with her fan base, as though she was going to drop the project. She wasn't going to drop the project. She was kind of in between. And she actually decided, I wouldn't even say decided. I think there was a combination of the labels met with her, and I feel she was forced to a certain degree to drop her project at a certain point in its time, because there was no holding back. Now must be the time. She dropped Imaginary Players, which sampled Jay-Z's Imaginary Players. There was I want to say it was a split reaction. When I first listened to it, it was decent. And then I went back and listened to it, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to appreciate the music, because that's what it just should be. I'm going to just appreciate it. I don't need to overrate it, but it's like, okay, this is something that she's given to roll out her album and letting everybody know what it is and how she's doing it. She's doing it big boss, big style fashion. She's showing her brand. She's showing her sex appeal. She's showing that she can still pop it and still have versatility and characteristics. But the one thing that I wanted to touch on, the main thing I wanted to touch on, is that there's been a thing going on around with music, is with our people doing too many promo tactics and not leaning on the music. Now, for Cardi, she has put out music, but it hasn't been a lot of music, and it hasn't been to the, you know, satisfying factory that, her fan base would, not even just her fan base, just everyday music goers would like. But she's been outside recently, literally outside recently on the streets. And I'm just going to say, first and foremost, I love it. I love it. I think it gives a message within a message, whether it was well thought out in that way or not. And it just ended up being, you know, killing two birds with one stone. I think it's actually dope. She was outside selling CDs. Well, she was outside promoting like she was like a vendor, somebody on the street corners and stuff like that, selling mixtapes, telling her you can get her album and different things of that nature. And I think that's cool to do. And she did that again by pretty much saying she's going to be going to different states and selling her CDs and saying, the label wants her to get out there and to sell her stuff. I don't see nobody else out there trying to physically hand CDs to their fans. You know, that used to happen. They used to do meet and greets when an artist album used to drop. They used to be in record stores and they used to be signing autographs. They'd be signing posters. They used to be signing the CDs, and it was release day, and they'd go around doing that. And Cardi B's actually taking it back to that. So regardless if people think that the music is not coming out, or for me, I feel like there was only been a few records that have been solid, and the other ones that may not have been solid. I think this is genius, and I think this is going to, put her on a trajectory of getting a win when it comes to this album. It's already going to get a win because she got WAP on it, so the numbers are going to be the numbers. But in terms of effectiveness for this album, I think that is actually setting up her success to do what she needs to do for this second time around. Now, forget talking about a third album. When we get to this album, let's just dive into it. Let's enjoy the music for what it is. Let's not be too harsh right out the gate. Let's reverse the thought process of it's trash off the first listen, or it's not good, or it's mid, or it's this and that. Nah, let's let music play. Play it while you just clean your car, while you clean the crib, while you in the house doing whatever you're doing, you at work, don't matter what it is. Play it. If you're a fan of that artist, you like that artist, you like that genre, give music a chance. Give everybody a chance to do what they need to do, and we're gonna see what she does. But we're gonna double back on her album when it actually releases September 19th. That'll be next week. And shout out to Cardi B once again. Let's move on. Real quickly, I wanted to touch on still in music. Kanye West is releasing a documentary in whose name. Now, I don't know if too many people know if this documentary is coming out, but it hasn't been promoted like that. We all know the things that Kanye has put himself through, whether it be, himself doing it or other people doing it to him like he says, or, be behind the scenes, or, him just being shadow banned or just being blackballed and whatever that thing is, whatever that is. But he's projected close to almost $3 billion. Close to. So I'm pretty sure he's going to amass that soon. Things are going good for him in the financial department, but as far as the visibility department, which Kanye really cares about the most, it hasn't been too good for him. He's been doing a lot of desperate things, in my opinion, to be back in the spotlight and to get on people's good side, back on people's good sides from, the kind of outlandish statements he's been making and the antics he's been doing, whether you agree with him or you don't agree with him. But this documentary in whose name, I'll read the description for you. Immersed in Kanye West, in quotations, Ye's world of extremes for six years, Nico Ballesteros, forgive me if I'm saying your name wrong, documented over 3,000 hours bearing witness to brilliance, breakdowns, triumphs, turmoil, paranoia, and intensity that increasingly shaped Ye's world. Now, if it's the last 6 years, if he's been documenting this and then everything he's been doing, I am interested in seeing this. Kanye West, at a point and still to some certain degrees, is a genius in his own right, and he does things, I guess, that are self-sufficient to him. But, growing up off of Kanye's music, first two albums for me were just insane, and then Graduation was just like kind of the cherry on the top that just put him in another stratosphere. But I'm not one of those that just like, he can do no wrong. He has done wrong. He has bugged out. I wish he kind of took a seat back, took a seat for a little bit and just kind of got whatever help he needed. I understand he goes through, the situations with his kids and different things of that nature. But I think it's gonna be interested in this documentary to see those aspects. If we're talking about the last 6 years, when it comes to his kids and the different antics and the different things that he's been getting himself into now. The the thing that I think about is if he's been shooting this the whole time and he's had this person around him, were some of those things on purpose? Like, was Kanye doing some of those things, which, you know, they people go into whole think pieces about why Kanye does the things he does, and I'm not here to do it. But for me now, just thinking about just saying the last 6 years for Kanye has been insane. It's been insane. He's he's maybe been the main one to really nosedive I guess his um personality or perception or his just like I said his visibility. His money is his money. He gonna be that. But the thing that satisfies Kanye is everybody knowing that he's the man and giving him praise because he has like a god kind of complex for whatever reason. He has, you know, you can watch the Genius documentary on Netflix, which is actually a good one as well too. It breaks down a lot of um, Kanye growing up and his mentality. Definitely check that out if you are a Kanye West fan. But the In Whose Name documentary that which comes out September 19th, it says in theaters, but the thing about it is I think this is going around along with the blackballed thing as well too, because they don't. This is not getting promoted. You can barely find it, even if you Google it. That's not the first thing that pops up. The Genius one pops up. It's almost like this is coming out but not coming out. So we'll see. So TBD, to be decided. Whoop de doo.
Lifestyle.
All right, we moving on. We gonna move on. We gonna switch topics real quick. Which we're not gonna stay on this for too long because this is to me this is not a political podcast. I'm not a political person. I do love information. I would love to be informed on more political things when because I'm starting to get into certain understandings of situations and how they affect certain communities, whether it be out in the world or my community in a sense. I'm definitely starting to tap into that a little bit more. But the Charlie Kirk assassination, you know, I didn't know who I did not know who this dude was. Let me just start there. Um, it it just took kind of the world by not the world. It just took the news by storm, and it's even crazier because there was the school shootings that actually happened. But this kind of caught people off guard, and there's been a lot of people, going off about this, based off of his not even political views, his life views, his social views, his racial views, his gun views. I don't, like I said, I don't know about him. The little that I actually seen just based off of what he was talking about, and when it comes to blacks and people from my culture and just the gun laws, it's just things off the bat that I just didn't necessarily agree with. When you get to those situations when you don't agree with somebody, there's always a deeper understanding to why they get to those points, and you still don't gotta agree with them. But I feel like that's what life is about. It's just more understanding and more hearing from the other side. Sometimes you don't always need to hear those points when it comes to certain things because people are just nasty and divisive. And it just seems like Charlie Kirk, in a sense, was one of those people. But you get to um you get to where he's assassinated at. And we'll go through and let me read from this is from CBS News. This is from CBS News reporting on it. Conservative activist, Turning Point USA co-founder Charlie Kirk died Wednesday after he was shot at an event at Utah Valley University. He was speaking to a large crowd at an outdoor "Prove Me Wrong" debate where he invites students to challenge his political and cultural views. Investigators believe they have the name of the person of interest, according to three sources, though no arrest warrant has been issued. Authorities shared a video late Thursday of the suspect climbing down from a roof following the shooting after sharing images throughout the day of a person of interest and asking the public for help in identifying the individual. A law enforcement official said investigators have good video footage of the suspect and also recovered a weapon used in the shooting. Kirk's body returned to his home state of Arizona on Vice President J.D. Vance's plane Thursday. President Trump paid tribute to Kirk, and elected officials on both sides of the aisle swiftly condemned the attack and denounced acts of political violence. Now, here's the thing with here's the things with the as soon as it happens, it starts to become a political thing. Now, it starts to become a left or right, Democrat, Republican, and I'm like, yo, this dude just lost his life on camera. I just told y'all I did not know who this guy was. You know, nobody should deserves to die, in my opinion. It did not like that. Especially not like that when you got two kids, a wife. Not like that. I don't care what his views are. You know, if he's going out here saying, yo, I'm about to go shoot somebody, then that's different. You know, like, and even in that sense, you know, he should just be reprimanded to be just based off and taken to where he needs to be taken to. But in a sense to where this dude would be shot as he's debating with students, you know, let's like this is college, this is kids. So for that to happen and automatically the political games get involved, it's just nasty work. We got we got uh we got one of the congresswomen getting on there and pretty much making this a political thing right off the bat. She got on the news. I want to say her name, Nancy something. I'm gonna have to. They're gonna say her name in a second. Nancy. I'm gonna get her name, but she got on there and said this.
Then there's Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace. She also spoke with reporters right after the shooting. Let's listen to that exchange.
Democrats own what happened today. I am devastated. Just because you speak your mind on an issue doesn't mean you get shot.
By that logic, do Republicans own the shooting of the two Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota?
Political.
Isn't this on both sides?
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm asking.
We
a
don't
serious
know what
question.
condition Charlie Kirk is in right now. Some raging leftist lunatic put a bullet through his neck, and you want to talk about Republicans right now? No.
No, I'm asking.
No, not
you,
at all.
You said the
No,
Democrats
this
have to own
is
it too,
on.
but
The
I'm asking.
Democrats own this.
Now, it's interesting that she would start her statement with Democrats and then she would end with Democrats. But everything in between was, how dare you say anything about the Republicans? And that's the problem that we always have with these issues. It's that it's just propaganda. You literally just said that this is a Democratic thing, and then as soon as the Republicans get blamed for something, it's not Republican. Now it goes back and forth on both parties, and for somebody's life to just be instantly turned into these issues. Now, granted, you know, but again, I'm gonna do more research on this guy, but to be honest with you, I don't know how deep he was. It seemed like, you know, for Trump to make the flags half mast and then give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, posthumous for what's his name, Charlie Kirk. It just clearly he had some views that aligned with some political figures and some people that were in the White House. And he was known, I guess he was known all around, and he's bigger than I guess I even think. Doesn't exist in my world. I didn't know nothing about him. And yeah, I don't agree with a lot of the things he be saying. But my thing is this. Are we going to outweigh the message or the morals? Because if we're going to weigh in on the message and just focus on the message being this was his message and this is what he deserved or what it is, or we're going to weigh on the moral side of, you know, nobody deserves to get shot in the neck in front of a whole bunch of kids just by you just talking based off of your freedom of speech, which clearly a lot of us don't agree with. Now, if we could flip that to the other side for somebody that's actually going for with some ideologies that we agree with, and that happens. God forbid that happens. We don't want anything like that to happen to nobody. So we don't want to outweigh the message, or we don't want to outweigh the morals. Very unfortunate situation, and it's unfortunate that there's a lot of propaganda and a lot of political things that just jump right in the mix of that. And We'll see what to come with. We'll see what's to come with that. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move over to movies real quick. Not a lot to touch on movies, but I do have a movie that I do want to see. I want to see if y'all are gonna go see this too. The Long Walk. The Long Walk. In your comments down there, again, like, subscribe, share. Make sure you commenting down there. It's a lifestyle LP. Make sure y'all engaging. I want y'all engagement. I want y'all topics. I want to see what y'all think of things. But The Long Walk. This movie is set to come out. Well, by the time this airs, it would have already came out. September 12th. September 12th, The Long Walk. Now, this movie is about a group of teenage boys that compete in an annual contest known as The Long Walk, where they must maintain a certain walking speed or they get shot. Now, I'm not sure what the year setting or the time is. It just seems like it may be it seems like it's like a different world type of thinking. And you have these army trucks following these kids down the road or these people down the road. And it's interesting that they put teenage boys. I don't know why they did that. But the directors are Francis Lawrence. The writers are J.T. Molnar and Stephen King, which, Stephen King, if you know about Stephen King, this could be like a psychological thriller as well. The stars are Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, and Garrett Waring. They are subject to walk down this road, and, you walk for so many miles. What's that? You ain't got no water. Your legs get tired. Some people can't take that stamina. You think, you're not running, walking. You think it'd be a little bit easier. But we gonna see with this movie that, like, I want to see what y'all think about it. If y'all seen the previews to it, it seemed like it could be decent. I want to see what the message is in it. Every movie has like its little messages in it and things of that nature. But I want to see what you guys' thoughts are about that. Put those in the comments. I do have a quick movie review, and when I say quick, I may actually spin back. I may actually spin back the next episode and touch on this, but highest to lowest. Let me know if y'all seen highest to lowest out there yet. It's a movie starring Denzel Washington, ASAP Rocky's in it, Ice Spice is in it, and it's crazy even to say these names. Um, to say Ice Spice, in a movie. But she did bare minimum acting, so I ain't gonna make it like that. But Denzel Washington and Spike Lee team up for their fifth movie, Highest to Lowest, where Denzel Washington is playing this music mogul titan, where he has like the best ears in the business, and then he gets jammed up in like a life or death situation and like a moral dilemma, where he's trying to get his son back, and he's trying to find the best way to do it, because of who he is and how he wants to go about it, and then the person that he ends up, finding out that has something to do with it, all was waiting to meet him his whole life. He's an artist as well too, so it's tied in like that. But the thing for me with the movie is that like it's 2 hours and 13 minutes. It just felt like it happened fast, and I still didn't really get. It just wasn't. I was thinking it was going to be more of a deeper music industry movie. You gotta throw in your. I guess you gotta throw in your climactic points in the movie, whether it be the kidnapping, the action scenes, or the interactions and things of that nature when you're getting close to trying to get your son back. I think it could have been a little bit better when it came to. And let me not say a little bit. It could have been a little bit better. I think I was looking for more on the music business side of things from a Denzel Washington and a Spike Lee specifically, because if you put those two and you just put where music has evolved and transitioned from even where they came out in their respective careers until now, and the different whether it be malpractices within the industry and how they go about it, there's a lot of different stories and a lot of different skin on that. There's a lot of different meat on that bone. Pause. To what I mean, like tell a good story. And I don't think they delivered all the way. I think it is a decent watch. So don't get me wrong. Like I think it is a decent watch. I think people will appreciate the movie. Denzel Washington is Denzel Washington, and it's even when you watch the movie, you could tell it's one of your more newer movies. I feel like sometimes with our greats and our great actors and actresses, they have this aesthetic where we watch their movies and they come across still nostalgic. And, it seems like Denzel Washington is just more of like in the newer age of things. He said to retire soon. and this being like one of his last few films. He has a few more left. I don't have exactly which ones. I know he's supposed to be doing some theater. He just came off of doing theater, and yeah, it's more of setting a new day and age, and it just could have been a little bit more of a deeper story, in my opinion. So, still, shout out to them. I give them a round of applause. Round of applause to them because anytime we get any two great black actors, black actor and film directors like Spike Lee and Denzel Washington teaming up to do anything in collaborative effort, we definitely want to give applause to that. So again, shout out to them. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. I do want to go in real quickly. My top 5 movies of 2025 so far. Hopefully y'all been going to the movie theaters, Netflix, whatever y'all been watching y'all movies on. For me, these are just straight out the movie theaters. There's a lot of good movies on Netflix that we will be diving into. Y'all give me some suggestions to watch too. I love some series, some TV shows, whatever it is, some documentaries, all that type of stuff. Y'all give me some suggestions to watch, and I'll break those down, and I'll engage with that, with y'all as well. Forgive me. All right, so top 5 movies of 2025 so far. At number 5, I got F1. I thought F1 was decent. I thought Brad Pitt did his thing. He, decent movie, decent story. I thought the movie had like white and black colors, and it was just interesting. He had a white and black actor. I just thought that was interesting. I'm not saying it was good or bad, but it was just interesting that they kind of focused on that a little bit. But it was a decent movie, decent story, and it was a good watch. At number 4, Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch, for all the, ones with kids out there. You take your kids to the movies. I took my daughter to go see this. She loved this movie. I actually liked it. I never really fully watched the cartoon version, I must admit. Sorry for y'all out there. Never really watched the cartoon version. And the live action movie was pretty decent. I thought the story was decent. And it was written well, was shot well. A lot of live action movies from cartoons don't really always transition over well, but I thought this one did a good job. Coming in at number 3, Fantastic Four. I thought that the Galactus edition was dope. I thought that the story setting up for Doctor Doom and Avengers Doomsday, like we covered in episode 1, which we're going to keep covering Avengers Doomsday because I can't wait to see that movie. I thought it's a good setup to the next movies because Marvel has been in a little bit of a rut. But Fantastic Four was kind of a like way to get your jump shots up real quick. You know what I mean? If you used to average 30, you know what I mean? You put up like a good little 22-point season real quick. You're going to get back to it next year. But coming in at number 2, I got Superman. I think Superman is the number 2 movie for me for the year. It could have been close. It could have been close to number 1 so far. It's been a little slow for movies. It's not gonna be my number 1 if my number 1 movie didn't come out then. But Superman, I thought Superman was decent for return for DC, and it did well as far as numbers. Again, like I covered in the first episode, it did well as numbers, and I thought the story was good and it's still carrying up well. I will eventually go and watch it again once it's available for streaming fully. And yeah, I thought that was a really good comeback for DC. They promoted it, they marketed it well, they did well. It was all over the United States. They were in different countries. They were doing well with this movie and they executed. So for me, they got that number 2 slot. And then at number 1, Sinners. How can it not be Sinners? How can it not be Sinners? Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, they delivered. They delivered. That to me, when Sinners came out, it really gave the synergy back to cinema and film and to real stories and to going to the movies. Even when a movie is hyped after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even 4 weeks. And everybody that came away, I wouldn't say everybody, but majority that came away watching that movie, they came away with different messages. They broke down different. They felt enlightened by this movie, even though it's vampires and we talking old music and we talking a lot of different biblical things. It was a lot of different things going on in this movie, and I just thought they delivered, and I thought they really impacted the culture, and I really thought they made a wave and an impact on 2025. So let's give it up to Sinners for getting that number 1 spot. We're going to move on. Lifestyle. Again, because it's a lifestyle. Hey, again, make sure y'all are liking and you make sure y'all are subscribing and sharing this. We want to build this platform one at a time. It's a lifestyle on all platforms. All right, make sure because y'all are. Without y'all, there's no me, but I'm gonna still be doing this. But I just want y'all to be seeing me do this. You know what I mean? I want y'all to grow. I need y'all to help me. Help me help you.
Lifestyle.
Appreciate everybody that's been tuning in though, for real. So everybody, again, real quick, just throw that in there. Everybody that has liked, shared, and spread their kind words to me, I really appreciate you wholeheartedly. It means a lot. It's been a long time coming with this, and it's not easy to do a lot of these things that I'm doing on just my own strength. But you know, when you really have a passion for something, when you really have a drive for something, you really just gotta just ramp it up to another gear, and you got that dedication. You gotta get it done. Just always make sure you get it done in life. You know, just that would be my message within what I'm saying is make sure you get it done. If you got that dedication, regardless of what it is, stick to it. Don't give up on it. You know, because there are people out there watching, and there are people out there pushing for you. Whether you feel it, hear it, see it, or believe it, they are out there. And when the time is right, they are going to come to support you and make sure that you got that support that you need. So again, it's a
Lifestyle.
let's move on to sports real quick. We're going to do a quick run through. Last weekend was the Basketball Hall of Fame enshrinement in my birthplace city, in my city, Springfield, Massachusetts. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. We always host it. We always do it right. They come here to Springfield, Mass. A lot of the some water real quick. A lot of the legendary basketball players come down here. I've done caught a few enshrinements myself. The Allen Iverson, the Shaquille O'Neal, the Yao Ming. That was one of my favorites because one of my favorite all-time basketball players is Allen Iverson, and that was dope to meet some NBA players down there. It's always a vibe. It's a completely different experience being able to have the Hall of Fame, and it's a blessing, and I'm grateful for it, and I never take it for granted. So this year's class was Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, Maya Moore from the WNBA, Sylvia Fowles, head coach Billy Donovan, and Miami Heat owner Mickey Arison. Let's give it up for them. But I really want to give it up for, also real quick, just a little quick mention, the 2008 Redeem team that brought home the gold after the 2004 team. You know, unfortunately, even though you got to be grateful for what you get, they brought home the bronze. LeBron, I want to say LeBron, Dwight, a lot of them was on that team. Chris Paul, that team was stacked, and they ended up bringing them the gold. Let's give it up for them. LeBron was in the city once again. We can't wait to his ceremony, but that's gonna be fire. I got to get tickets for that like now. But I wanted to focus on Melo because, like as I said, Allen Iverson is one of my favorite players, and as Melo was actually ascending and coming up, I actually watched Melo on TV when they actually used to broadcast like the Oak Hill game for the Jordan Classic on TV, which was a dope time in basketball because LeBron was, coming up and during that time as well too. But Carmelo coming up out of Oak Hill and then going to Syracuse and then winning that national title at Syracuse was just different. And then the draft class that he went into with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade and LeBron James and the career he had. So I just wanted to read off, in a respect to Carmelo Anthony, I just wanted to read off his career stats and a salute to him and his Hall of Fame and induction and just many blessings to him and his family. He got Cayenne Anthony, who's committed to Syracuse as well too, and he's gonna be a beast. He really put the work in with him as well too. So I'm proud of the things that he's done with his son, and salute to Carmelo Anthony. So I'm gonna read off his stats real quick in his career highlights. So Carmelo Anthony is a 10-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA second team, 4-time All-NBA third team. He is the NBA scoring champion in 2013, NBA All-Rookie first team 2004. He's a part of the NBA 75th anniversary team, NCAA champion in 2003, NCAA Final Four most outstanding player in 2003, consensus second team All-American in 2003, USBWA National Freshman of the Year in 2003. He has his number 15 retired by Syracuse Orange. He's a 2-time USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year in 2006 and 2016. He's a first-team Parade All-American in 2002 and a McDonald's All-American in 2002. He's recorded 28,289 points with a 22.5 points per game average. His rebounds is 7,808 with a 6.2 rebounds points per game average. His assists 3,422 with a 2.7 and assist points per game average. He was mostly known for his scoring, so salute to Carmelo Anthony. ISO King, put you in the post. He had the fadeaway, dunk on you, 3-point mid-range, didn't matter what it was. He was a part of the men's USA basketball. They won the gold medal in Beijing 2008, the gold medal in 2012 in London, the 2016 gold medal in Rio de Janeiro, and they brought home that bronze, unfortunately, but still got a medal in 2004 in Athens, bronze in 2006 in Japan, and a gold in 2007 in Las Vegas. Salute to Carmelo Anthony, man. Once again, man. He played for drafted by the Nuggets, then went to the Knicks, the Thunder, the Rockets, the Trailblazers, then the Lakers. There was a lot that Carmelo probably could have contributed more in his career if there wasn't different turns, but his career was his career, but it landed him in the Hall of Fame. And again, I want to give a shout out to Carmelo Anthony. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And moving on. Real quickly, Mike Tyson is set to take on Floyd Mayweather. I want to see what y'all think about that. Forgive me. I want to see what y'all think about that. That is set to take place in 2026. I don't think they have the date secured yet. There was a number of like 100 million floated out there for. I'm not sure if they're splitting that. They both have their promotions on the flyer. Floyd Mayweather promotions and then Mike Tyson promotions. So that's dope for them to actually be getting out there and getting to a bag. I know people are kind of like, yo, they're old, they shouldn't be doing it. But, in this day and age and when content is king, why wouldn't you just do it? Boxing is in a place where there's not a lot of superstars that's driving the sport right now. And these two titans that can collect a bag at this age in their career, where Mike Tyson is 59 and Floyd Mayweather is 48, hey, they retired. Why not go throw a couple punches in an exhibition real quick? I think Mike Tyson, in my opinion, I think he's gonna try to land one on Floyd. I think he's gonna try to land one, like a good one. If they got him holding back punches, I think he may just hold one, try to get him one or two, because Floyd's always known for his defense. He's always known for dodging and then coming on later on in the rounds and cleaning up the opponent and doing what he got to do, whether it be knocking him out or winning by technical decision, or a technical knockout. But I think it's going to be a good bout. And we're going to see what they're going to do with that. So shout out to them. All right. We're going back to the NFL. Real quick. I want to run down. We're going to do picks. We're going to do LP's quick picks. We're going to run down these picks real quick. We're going to double back to see if those picks next week have, come to suffice, and we're going to see where I went wrong, and we're going to keep a tally of where my record is for the year, and that's just something we do on our sports segment. So let's get into our picks right now. Let's go. Lifestyle. All right, I got the 49ers over the Saints. I think Brock Purdy and them is going to take care of business. Spencer Rattler, I don't know if he can handle up against that 49ers defense. All right, I got the Bills over the Jets. Justin Fields, they was trying to do some things with him running. The defense didn't look as good as the Jets defense usually looks. And the Bills, it's just rolling. Josh Allen put on a crazy performance in that fourth quarter against the Ravens. All right, I got the Steelers over the Seahawks. I love the way the Steelers actually came out and played and had that game-winning drive that the Steelers actually had, or Jalen Ramsey, when he made that tackle. Yeah, that was nice. That's good energy for the Steelers. And Aaron Rodgers, actually, not to mention, throwing 4 touchdowns. That's a good sign for the Steelers if you're a Steelers fan. I got the Rams over the Titans. Come on now, my Rams. I think we're going to clean up. Cam Ward and them struggled in the first game of their season, and I think they're going to struggle again. Our defense is picking things off. We're picking passes off, and we're sacking the quarterback. Exactly what we need to do, and we're taking care of the ball on offense. We're going to do our thing. I got the Cardinals over the Panthers. Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., they doing their thing. Great connection. Bo Nix, they kind of struggled to get that win last week, but I think that they're going to actually take this L this time. I got the Chiefs over the Eagles. I think the Chiefs been waiting for their Eagles get back. Eagles been feeling themselves, and the media has actually been going in on the Eagles, pumping them up to a little bit. I think they're going to get knocked down back just a couple pegs, and I think Patrick Mahomes is going to remind people, and I think Andy Reid and Travis Kelce and that team is going to, they're going to rally up, and they're going to remind people of why they've been in the Super Bowl so many years in the last few years, and they're going to overcome the Eagles. I got the Vikings over the Falcons. I do like the Vikings. I do like the offense. I like Justin Jefferson. I do like J.J. McCarthy. I like what they're doing. The Falcons, they had a tough loss, and when they kicker missed that field goal, who knows what the rest of that game would have been. And we'll see what they actually do this time, but I think the Vikings are going to overcome them. It might be a close game, back and forth. I can see the Vikings maybe winning by 4 or 5, maybe 6. But we'll see. But I got the Bucks over the Texans. I like Baker Mayfield. I like the Mike Evans connection. I like the defense. The defense is solid. They got dual running backs, and they're able to do their thing. The Texans, I think the Texans are going to get off to a slow start. They're going to pick it up, and I don't got them going to the playoffs. So I think this is one of the reasons why they're going to get off to a slow start, and they're going to pick it up late. But unfortunately, it's just going to be a little too late. I do still like C.J. Stroud, though, but I just think they need to revamp and bring a little bit more life to that offense to get that going. I got the Raiders over the Chargers. Geno Smith and Pete Carroll are going to take the league by storm. I'm calling it right here. They're going to take the league by storm. I like the way they looked week 1. I do like that. Not to say that I don't like the way that the Chargers look, because I do like the way the Chargers look. I think Jim Harbaugh really did his thing. Even you can just see the development even more in Justin Herbert with the delivery of his throws and the accuracy of his throws and how deep he's making his throws. And he's not forcing the ball in the places that he needs to. And that team is playing with some grit on both sides of the ball. But I still have the Raiders over the Chargers. I think the Raiders are just gonna the Raiders are at home, and I think this is gonna be a little bit extra for the Chargers, and I don't think they're gonna be able to overcome that. So those are my NFL Week 2 picks. All right, so lastly, the one thing that I had to ask before we wrap it up, before we get out here, is how much, which I'll say is how much do you show up for yourself versus how much you show up for others? And I'll say that again. How much do you show up for yourself versus how much do you show up for others? Because I think there needs to be a healthy balance between the two. Because when you end up showing up for other people outside of the things that you need to show up for yourself for, you end up, I feel, in a sense, getting off track, putting yourself behind the 8 ball, and you're not being where you need to be. And I don't think you end up creating an energy in spaces to where you start becoming away because you're not showing up for yourself, because you kind of start building up resentments for showing up for other people. And you don't have to build up resentment for other people. It just ends up being you're building up resentment for yourself for showing up for other people. But that's just your innate ability to show up for other people if you have that. And everybody's not like that. I want y'all to put down in the comments, do you show up for yourself more? Do you show up for other people? Do you feel that you show up for other people more than you show up for yourself? And what are the causes and what are the effects of that? Just something that was kind of weighing my brain like the past few days. It was a topic I wanted to bring to y'all. I personally feel that there does need to be a balance. And sometimes you may need to lean into showing up for yourself a little bit more, so that way you can be able to show up for others. Because if you're not in the right mind space, you don't have the right energy, you don't have the right peace, you could just throw things off, and you can be in somebody else's space and just things don't go the way it needs to be, and you kind of misrepresent yourself to ways that you don't really want to project yourself on. You don't want to take those steps towards some destination that you ain't really planned on going. So then you can't really return from that. So the best thing for me, personally speaking, to say and do is to find a balance in that and making sure that you're actually showing up for yourself, most importantly, so that way you can be in those spaces again to show up for other people. Now, I want y'all to be able to find us on YouTube, Patreon, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I want y'all to find me everywhere. Again, follow the page. We got to grow this. We got to build this. I appreciate everybody once again tuning in to episode 1. If this is your first time on episode 2, go back, check out episode 1. We coming back with episode 3 and so on and so forth. It's a lifestyle, it's a lifestyle LP on all streaming platforms. Like, comment, subscribe, comment, share. Stay out there with me, all right, y'all? You know what I mean? Grow with me, all right? Episode 2 in the books. I'll see y'all again soon. We out of here.
Lifestyle.